Hello class and welcome back to my channel at nandito na naman po tayo para sa isa na namang video tutorials sa mga lessons ng mathematics with me, Sir Michael. And for this video, ang pag-uusapan natin is all about the properties of operations on integers. So in this particular lesson, we are going to discuss and illustrate the different properties of operation on the set of integers. So this is the competency or the most essential learning competencies from the Department of Education, Mathematics 7, week number 4, quarter number 1. So at the end of this lesson, you are expected to illustrate the different properties of operations on the set of integers. So, i-discuss natin lahat ng mga properties at magbibigay tayo ng mga example para po masagutan ninyo yung inyong mga activities regarding dito po sa lesson na ito. So, let's start with the first properties. So, the properties involves addition and multiplication. So, ito lang po yung ating pag-uusapan since wala naman po tayong properties for subtraction and properties for division. Ano po? So, we'll be focusing on properties of addition and multiplication. So, the first property is the closure property of addition and the closure property of multiplication. So, one by one, i-discuss natin sila at kung ano yung pagkakapareho nila at ang kanilang pagkakaiba. So, for the closure property of addition, it states that for any integers a and b, a plus b is an integer. So, this is closed for addition since the addends are integers, the sum is also an integer. So, ano po, sa madaling salita, kapag sinabi natin closure property of addition, kapag nag-add tayo ng dalawang integers, ang magiging sagot is integers din. So, let's say for example, we have here, let's say 1 plus 3. 1 and 3 are integers. And if we compute or kapag in-add na natin yung 1 at 3, the result will be 4. So, therefore, yung 4 natin is also an integer. So, that is closure property of addition. Kapag nag-add kayo ng dalawang integers, ang magiging sagot nyo is integer also. Another example is, let's say, negative 2 plus negative 4. Negative 2 and negative 4 are integers. So, if we add negative 2 and negative 4, the result is negative 6. And negative 6 is also an integer. So, yun po yung sinasabi sa closure property. Napakasimple lang po, napakadaling intindihin na kapag nag-add tayo ng integers, ang magiging sagot is also an integer. That is for the closure property of addition. While in the closure property of multiplication, it's almost the same. The concept is the same. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is the operation. So, what does it mean? So, let's say we have 1 times 3. Okay? So, 1 times 3, 1 and 3 are integers, as we said a while ago. And if we multiply 1 times 3, the result is 3. So, that means, if we multiply two integers, the result will also be an integer. That is for closure property of multiplication. So, yun lang po yung pagkakaiba nila. Addition and multiplication, yung operation. Another example is negative 2 times negative 4. So, if we multiply negative 2 and negative 4, the result is positive 8. Remember the rules in multiplying integers. So, negative 2 times negative 4 and negative 2 and negative 4 are integers. Therefore, the answer is also an integer, which is 8. So, that is the closure property of multiplication. Next property is the commutative property of addition. So, for addition, it states that for any integers a and b, a plus b is equal to b plus a. The order of addends will not affect the sum. For multiplication, for any integers a and b, a times b is equal to b times a. The order of factors will not affect the product. So, same concept lang po siya. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is the operation. So, ano ba yung sinasabi dito sa commutative property of addition? So, ang sinasabi lang naman dito is, kahit magkabaliktad yung pwesto nila, hindi pa rin mababago yung kanilang mga sagot. Example. So, we have 1 plus 3, and we can say that it is also equal to 3 plus 1. So, kung mapapansin nyo, pinagpalit lang yung pwesto nila, then, titignan natin kung magiging tama. Well, pag sinolve natin siya, 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 1 is also 4. So, that is commutative property. Ang ibig sabihin lang po nun, kahit magkabaligtad sila ng pwesto, parehas pa rin sila na magiging sagot. Another example is that we have 5 plus negative 1. So 5 plus negative 1 can be written or is also equal to negative 1 plus 5. So pinagpalit lang yung pwesto but the answers are the same. 5 plus negative 1 is 4 and negative 1 plus 5 is also 4. That is for commutative property of addition. So sa multiplication naman, same concept din naman tayo. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is yung operation. So let's say 1 times 3, it is also equal to 3 times 1. So pinagbaligtad lang din yung pwesto nila, but the answers are the same. So 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 1 is also 3. So that is the commutative property for multiplication. And another example is that we have 5 times negative 1. So we can, it is also equal to negative 1 times 5. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Negative 1 times 5 is also negative 5. So that is commutative property for addition and multiplication. So palagi nyo lang tatandaan na sa commutative property, pag nagkapalit sila ng pwesto, it's okay kasi parehas lang sila na magiging sagot. Huwag lang mababago yung mga given. Kailangan yung given natin dun sa left side is parehas lang ng given sa right side. Pinagbago lang ng pwesto. Okay po. Next. So the next property is the addition property or associative property of addition rather and sa multiplication. So what is stated in the associative property of addition? So for any integers a, b, and c, parenthesis a plus b, close parenthesis, plus c is also equal to a plus parenthesis b plus c, close parenthesis. So in different groupings of addends will not affect the sum. Then sa multiplication naman, for any integers a, b, and c, a times b or parenthesis a times b parenthesis times c is equal to a times parenthesis b times c, close parenthesis. So the different groupings of factors will not affect the product. So ganun din po dito. Ang ibig sabihin naman po ng associative property is that kahit magbago yung groupings ng ating given, hindi pa rin mababago yung sagot. So yung groupings natin, pag sinabi natin groupings, yun yung mga nasa loob ng parenthesis. Ano po? So katulad dito sa ating example, a plus b, sila yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. So sa kabilang side naman, na bago, ang nasa loob na is b plus c. But it is stated that hindi pa rin mababago yung sagot. Example, let's say 1 plus 3 plus 5. So dito sa una, ang nakalagay sa loob ng parenthesis is 1 plus 3. So we can also rewrite that as 1 plus 3 plus 5. So nabago na po yung groupings natin dahil yung sa pangalawang or sa left side or sa right side ng equal side, ang nasa loob na ng parenthesis is yung 3 plus 5. Na dito sa una is 1 plus 3. So kapag sinolve natin yan, parehas lang din na magiging sagot yan. So 1 plus 3 is 4 plus 5 is equal to 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 8. And 4 plus 5 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. So, parehas lang po yan. That is associative property. Kahit po mabago yung kanilang groupings, hindi pa rin mababago yung kanilang sagot. Sa multiplication naman, same concept. Again, the only difference is the operation. So, let's say 1 times 3 times 5. We can also write that as 1 times 3 times 5. So, as you can see, nabago yung groupings natin. Dito sa left side, ang nasa loob ng parenthesis is 1 times 3. While on the right side, ang nasa loob na ng parenthesis is 3 times 5. So, yun lang po yung kanilang pagkakaiba. Anyways, it will come up with the same answer. So, following the order of operation, yung nasa loob muna ng parenthesis. So, 1 times 3 is 3 times 5 is equal to 1 times 3 times 5 is 15. So, 3 times 5 is 15 and 1 times 5 is also 15. And that is the associative property. So, sa associative property po, tandaan natin, kahit mabago yung kanilang groupings, hindi mababago yung kanilang sagot. Ano po? Next is the identity property of addition and identity property of multiplication. So, what is stated in identity property of addition? For any integers a plus 0 is equal to a. The sum of any numbers and 0 will always be equal to the number. And the identity element of addition is 0. So, ano naman po yung ibig sabihin po nito? So, pag sinabi natin identity property of addition, any number added to 0 will be the same number. Ano po? Or yung number, kapag inad natin sa 0, ang magiging sagot pa rin is yung number pa rin. Halimbawa, let's say 3 plus 0, so the result will also be 3. So same pa rin siya. Kung ano yung inad natin sa 0, yun pa rin yung magiging sagot. That's why the identity element for addition is 0. Next example, we can also have negative 4 plus 0, which is, it is equal to negative 4. So, yung mga given natin, yun pa rin yung mga nagiging sagot kapag inad natin siya sa 0. Let's say, negative 9 plus 0 is also, is equal to negative 9. So, that is the identity property of addition. So, remember, the identity element for addition is 0. So, yun lang po yung tatandaan nyo dito. Then, sa multiplication naman, for the identity property of multiplication, the product of any number and 1 will always be equal to the number. So, same sa addition, kapag ka nag-multiply tayo ng number sa kanyang identity element, ang magiging sagot is the same number. So, sa multiplication naman po, ang identity element natin ay 1. Ano po? So, from addition, ang identity element is 0. Sa multiplication naman, ang identity element natin is 1. Bakit po 1 yung identity element? Bakit hindi 0? Mamaya po makikita nyo kung bakit hindi 0 yung identity element ng multiplication. But let us focus in the identity element. So yun po yung sinasabi dito. Sabi dito, kapag nag-multiply tayo ng number sa 1, ang sagot is yung number. Example, 3 times 1. So the answer is 3. And negative 4 times 1 is also equal to negative 4. Negative 9 times 1 is equal to negative 9. So, kung mapapansin nyo, kapag minultiply natin yung number sa 1, ang sagot is the same number. That is the identity property of multiplication. Next, sa additive inverse, we have the opposite of the given integer is called its additive inverse. The sum of number and its additive inverse is 0. Sa multiplication, the reciprocal of the given integer is called its multiplicative inverse, and the product of a number and its multiplicative inverse is 1. So, ano po yung ibig sabihin nito? In additive property inverse, kapag nag-add tayo ng additive inverse, ang magiging sagot is the identity element. Ano po yung identity element natin ng addition? That is 0. So, sa additive inverse po, ang magiging sagot niya is always 0. At paano natin makukuha yung additive inverse? Makukuha natin yung additive inverse sa pamamagitan ng kanilang sign. Ano po? Papalitan nyo lang po or yung kabaligtaran ng sign. Example po. So, we have, let's say, 3, positive 3. So, what is the additive of positive 3 or the additive inverse of positive 3? Yung kabaligtaran ng sign. And that would be negative 3. At pag pinag-add natin sila, the result is 0. No? Next, negative 1. What is the additive inverse of negative 1? Since negative 1 siya, the additive inverse, of course, is positive 1. And that would be equal to 0. Next example, so let's say we have 9. And what is the additive inverse of positive 9? So, positive siya, then therefore, the additive inverse is negative 9. And it will come up with 0. So, that is the additive inverse property. Ano po? Kapag ka nag-add tayo ng additive inverse, the result will be the identity element, which is 0. That is for addition. While in the multiplicative inverse or sa multiplication naman, the multiplicative inverse is the reciprocal. Ano po yung reciprocal? Ibig sabihin ng reciprocal, yung kabaligtaran. So, let's say for example, we have 3. So, imumultiply natin siya sa reciprocal ng 3. Ano po yung reciprocal ng 3? Paano po natin makukuha yun? So, in rational numbers, 3 can also be written as 3 over 1. So, ibig sabihin, kung babaligtarin natin siya, ang makukuha natin is 1 over 3. So, ganun din po yung mangyayari dito. So, the multiplicative inverse of 3 is 1 over 3. At pag minultiply natin sila, the result will be the identity element. And for multiplication, the identity element is 1. Oh. Next, let's say we have 5. What is the multiplicative inverse of 5? So, parehas lang sila dito. Ito, 3. Naging 1/3. So, dito, ang 5 magiging 1 over 5. And its result will also be equal to 1. Another example is 2 over 3. So what is the multiplicative inverse of 2 over 3? Babaligtarin lang natin siya. So that would be 3 over 2. And this results to 1. That is the multiplicative inverse property. So kapag tinanong kayo, what is the multiplicative inverse of a certain number? Kunin nyo lang yung reciprocal. And that is how you get the multiplicative inverse. Ano po? Basta kailangan ang magiging sagot kapag minultiply natin yung number sa kanyang inverse, ang magiging sagot is 1 for multiplication. Sa addition naman is 0. Po? Next is the zero property of multiplication. So for the zero property of multiplication, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina sa identity element for multiplication. Bakit hindi siya zero? Kasi meron po siyang special case. So in this case, any number multiplied to 0 is equal to 0. So ganun lang po siya kasimple. Kahit anong number ang i-multiply natin sa 0, ang magiging sagot is 0 pa din. Ano po? So let's say 5 times 0, of course, that would be 0. Let's say 1/2 times 0, the result is also 0. Ano po? Basta remember, zero property of multiplication, any number multiplied to 0 will also will be equal to 0. Then for the distributive property of multiplication over addition, so for any integers a, b, and c, a times b plus c is equal to ab plus ac. So, ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Adding first before multiplying or distributing the factor to each added will give the same result. Ano po? Kaya siya tinawag na distributive property kasi we are distributing a certain number to the terms inside. Ano po? So, ito pong ating A, kaya siya naging AB plus C, binigay natin siya dito. So, we multiply A times B, kaya naging AB. Then, A times C, kaya naging AC. And then, yung operation natin is plus. Kaya naging AB plus C. So, that is why it is the same. Ano po? So, let us try an example. Let's say 2 times 1 plus 3. So, it is also equal to 2 times 1 plus 2 times 3. So, kung mapapansin nyo, binigay yung 2 sa 1 at saka sa 3, kaya naging 2 times 1 plus 2 times 3. So, if we follow the order of operation, so simplify lang natin, ang unahin natin is yung nasa loob. So, that would be 2 times 1 plus 3 is 4. So, in the right side, we have 2 times 1, that is 2, plus 2 times 3, that is 6. So, simplifying, we have 2 times 4, that is 8. And 2 plus 6 is also 8. So, that is the distributive property of multiplication over addition. Actually, pwede din siya sa subtraction. Ano? So, paano naman po siya sa subtraction? So, for example, let's say 3 times 1 minus 3 is also equal to 3 times 1 minus 3 times 3. So, ayan po yun. So, let us try to solve. So, 3 times 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And in this case, we have 3 times 1 is 3. And we have minus 3 times 3 is 9. So, if we simplify again, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And 3 minus 9 is also negative 6. So, that is the distributive property of multiplication over addition. And also, pwede rin siya naman siya sa subtraction. And those are the different properties of operations on the set of integers. Remember, sa properties sa operation natin, meron tayong addition and multiplication. So, yun po yung ating mga operations or the properties that involves on integers. And that's all for this lesson. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.